Hello everyone. Let us see some more terms that are related to illumination in this lecture. So first one is a luminous flux. It is defined as energy in the form of light waves radiated per second from a luminous body. So it is nothing but if you take a luminous body, that means which emits light, so how much amount of light energy it is giving out per second, that is called a luminous flux. Okay, it is nothing but total quantity of light energy that is emitted per second from a luminous body. So that can be denoted by either capital F or phi. So some textbooks use F denotation, some textbooks use phi denotation. So both are correct, right? So F or phi, and the units of luminous flux is lumens. So this term luminous flux helps us to specify the output. How much output is nothing but how much amount of energy is emitted or not coming out of a luminous body. So how much amount of output and what is its efficiency of a given light source. So this term luminous flux helps us to identify these two parameters, that is output, what is output, and what is the efficiency of a source given. Okay, then coming to the next one, radiant efficiency. So it is defined as energy radiated in the form of light that produces sensation of vision to the total energy radiated out by the luminous body. See, if you take a bulb or something, let us consider a light source. So how much amount of a light is emitted out from it and how much of it is reaching our eye, this is nothing but radiant efficiency. So all of the light energy coming out of the light source may not reach our vision. Some of it may be getting deviated due to conduction, convection, radiation or some other source, right? So there might be some loss. So whatever amount of light energy that is reaching our eyesight or which produces sensation of vision to the human eye to total energy radiated by the body, that is called radiant efficiency. Okay, next, luminous intensity. See, luminous intensity in a given direction is a luminous flux emitted by the source per unit solid angle. Right? It is nothing but luminous flux, but in a particular direction, how much it is emitting per unit solid angle, that is called luminous intensity. Intensity is nothing but how much frequency, we can say, how fast it is, how concentrated it is. So all these terms are synonyms of intensity, right? So luminous intensity in a given direction is a luminous flux. That is, a luminous flux is nothing but how much amount of energy is emitted by the source per unit solid angle. If you take, that is called luminous intensity. So its units are candela or lumens per steradian. Steradian is a unit of solid angle and the lumens is a unit of luminous flux. So luminous flux per solid angle gives us lumens per steradian. So this luminous intensity is denoted by capital I. So I is equals to, by definition, phi or F by omega, that is solid angle. Now coming to lumens, which is a unit of luminous flux, right? Lumens is a unit of luminous flux. So how it is defined? It is defined as the amount of luminous flux given out in a space represented by 1 unit solid angle by a source having an intensity of 1 candle power in all directions. Nothing but, see, per unit solid angle for how much area. Solid angle is nothing but angle subtended by a particular area or not. So for that particular area, that is 1 solid angle area, how much intensity of luminous flux is emitted, that is nothing but called as lumen. So lumen is what? It is represented, see, it is given like luminous flux, that is nothing but candle power into solid angle. See, solid angle, per unit solid angle, how much it is emitted by 1 unit solid angle. Per I am not telling, it is not per, but each solid angle, if you split into a number of areas, for certain area, how much luminous flux is emitted, that is called lumen. So lumen is given by candle power into solid angle omega. Now let us see what is candle power. So it is defined as a number of lumens emitted by a source in a unit solid angle in given direction. Candle power is nothing but how many number of lumens is emitted by the source for one unit solid angle. Here we are telling for a unit solid angle. That means by omega. For one solid angle, how many lumens are emitted? How many number of lumens are emitted? That is nothing but candle power. It is denoted as Cp. See, candle power is what? Lumens per solid angle, that is omega. So next, illumination. Illumination is what? It is luminous flux received by a surface per unit area. What is it telling? Luminous flux received per unit surface area. How much amount of luminous flux is received? That is called illumination. Generally, so many people think about what is the difference between the light and illumination then. Yes, there is a difference. Light is the source or not, from where the from where the energy is coming out, that is called radiant energy is coming out, that is called light. Source is called light. But illumination is how much amount of that source is reaching to the target, that is called illumination. So light is a cause and illumination is a effect, we can tell, right? So generally these terms are more or less same, but strictly speaking there is a difference between illumination and light. Both are different, right? So this illumination makes the surface more bright or less bright with a particular color. Why color comes into picture here? Nothing but wavelengths, different wavelengths of light gives us color. Yes or no? Right? So now if these different wavelengths are seen by our naked eyes, when it reaches the target, then it is called as illumination or not. So this illumination is what? As told here in terms of luminous flux, how many number of luminous flux are received by the surface, not emitted by the source. Received by the surface per unit area, that is called illumination. So it is denoted by E and its units are lumens per meter square, or it can be called as lux. So E can be defined as the luminous flux is nothing but phi by a surface per unit area by A. So E is equals to phi by A, which gives units as lumens per meter square or lux. Next, brightness. So this brightness is also called as luminance and is denoted by capital L. So what is this brightness? Let us see now. Brightness of a surface is defined as the luminous intensity per unit projected area of the surface in the given direction. Here luminous flux received is called illumination, but brightness is what? Luminous intensity per unit area. Okay, here there is a lot of difference per unit area. How much amount of luminous flux is received, that is called illumination. But here talking in terms of intensity, how intense that luminous flux is falling on the surface, that is called brightness. So it is also called as luminance. So it is denoted by capital L and its units are candela per meter square. Why? Because luminous intensity its units are candela per meter projected area, that is meter square. Right? Now let us see the relation between luminous intensity, luminance and illumination. So these are the formulas corresponding to these three terms, that is L. Luminance is nothing but luminous intensity by pi r square, and E, illumination, is equals to luminous intensity by 4 pi r square into 4 pi, which gives us luminous intensity I by r square. So these are the formulas which gives us the relation between luminous intensity, luminance as well as illumination. Now let us see what is MHCP, that is mean horizontal candle power. It is defined as a mean of candle power in all directions in a horizontal plane containing the source of light. There is a source of light in a horizontal plane. If we sum up, if we take the mean of all the candle powers in all the directions, then it is called MHCP. Similarly, mean spherical candle power, MSCP, is defined as a mean of candle powers in all the directions in all the planes. As it is spherical one, we have to sum up the candle powers in all the directions and in all the planes from the source of light. Similarly, mean hemispherical candle power. So this is defined as a mean of all the candle powers in all the directions above or below the horizontal plane passing through the source of light. So if it's hemispherical shape, if we want to consider, then we should consider that there is a horizontal plane passing through the source of light, and if you calculate the means of all the candle powers in all the directions, then it is called mean hemispherical candle power. Next, coming to reduction factor. See, reduction factor is nothing but reduction factor of a source of light is a ratio of its mean spherical candle power to mean horizontal candle power. So reduction factor is what? When we convert the 3D to 2D, when we compare both MHCP and MSCP, what is the change in the source of light? That is called reduction factor. Right? Ratio. It is nothing but MSCP by MHCP. Next, coming to lamp efficiency. So by the name itself we can understand that it is a ratio of luminous flux to the power input. So how much input of power is obtained, we are giving for that input power, how much amount of luminous flux it is generating. That is called lamp efficiency. How much amount of the input we are giving to the source it is utilizing, that is called lamp efficiency. Its unit is what? Lumens per watt. As luminous flux is measured in lumens and input power is measured in watts, the units of lamp efficiency becomes lumens per watt. Next, coming to specific consumption. See, consumption means what? How much amount of energy we are utilizing. So it is defined as a ratio of power input to the average candle power, right? So unit becomes power input in watts and candle power in candles, CP, right? This is about specific consumption. Next, coming to space height ratio. See, as the name itself, ratio of space and height, but of what? Let us see. It is defined as a horizontal distance between adjacent lamps and height of their mountings, right? Space between two adjacent lamps and how much amount of height, at what height they are placed. That is called space height ratio. Next, coming to utilization factor or coefficient of utilization, nothing but measure of how much we are utilizing it. The ratio of total lumens reaching the working place to total lumens given out by the lamp is called utilization factor, right? In terms of lumens we are talking, it becomes coefficient of utilization. How many amount of lumens is emitted by the lamp to how much it is reaching to the working place. That is important. Okay, that is called utilization factor or coefficient of utilization. Next, maintenance factor. So if you see, it is nothing but ratio of illumination under normal working condition to the illumination when things are perfectly clean. How much it is difference it is taking between when it is perfectly clean and when some dust is in the source. It may have some dust particles may absorb some amount of light or not. So how much amount of illumination is absorbed by dust particles, that is called maintenance factor. Then coming to depreciation factor, it is nothing but inverse of this maintenance factor. This maintenance factor, if you see, under perfectly clean, for example, under perfectly clean conditions, illumination will be automatically high. But under normal working conditions, there may be some dust or smoke like things in some factories which may absorb some amount of light. So due to which the illumination under normal conditions will always be less than the illumination under perfectly clean conditions, right? So if illumination under normal conditions is less, that means this maintenance factor will also be always less than 1 or not. So when coming to depreciation factor, it is nothing but reciprocal of this maintenance factor. That is, it is defined as a ratio of initial illumination to the ultimate maintained illumination on the working plane. So initially how much illumination is present, and after at last how much illumination is maintained. So that is called depreciation factor. It is nothing but inverse of maintenance factor, which is always greater than 1. Initially will be high, then it will be lower. So depreciation factor will always be greater than 1 and maintenance factor will always be less than 1. Then coming to waste light factor, as the name indicates, some amount of light may be wasted. We have to calculate what amount of light is wasted. That is called waste light factor. Right? So whenever a surface is illuminated by a number of sources of light, let us see, there are so many sources of light. So there will always be a certain amount of waste of light due to overlapping, or the light may be falling on these adjacent planes. So that is waste light. It is not utilized. So I need to read a paper, but the complete light from the source do not come and fall on the paper. Some of that light also falls on the adjacent sides of the paper, but that is not utilized by me. Why? Because I need to read a paper. Some amount of light is wasted by reading the corners by going to the adjacent sides. So that part of light is called waste light factor. It may be due to overlapping or falling of light on outside the edges of the surface. So that effect will be taken into account. So that is called waste light factor. So now let us see its definition. The amount of light wasted on account of overlapping and falling of light outside the edges of the surface due to number of sources of light is called waste light factor. So generally waste light factor is taken as 1.2 for any rectangular area and 1.5 for irregular areas. Okay, this is about waste light factor. Now let us see what is absorption factor. So in some areas there may be the atmosphere may be filled with the smoke fumes in some industrial areas or in some factories. In such places there may be a possibility of absorption of light. So if you see, generally in winter season, when you drive a car in the early morning times, so the complete light emitted by the sun is not utilized or falling directly on the road, but there may be smoke which is completely absorbing the light and restricting us to move forward, right? So in such areas, what is the amount of light that is emitted by the source and how much amount of light that is absorbed by that undergoes absorption? So that is called absorption factor. That is the ratio of total lumens available after absorption, how much is remaining, to the total lumens emitted by the source or lamp, whatever it may be. That is known as absorption factor. What is the remaining amount of lumens available, and what was the initial, what is the total number of lumens emitted by the source. That is called absorption factor. So absorption factor is generally 1 for clean atmosphere and 0.5 for foundries or some factories where the atmosphere is not clean or clear. Okay, next, beam factor. What is this beam factor? So beam factor is nothing but the ratio of lumens in the beam of a projector to the lumens given out by the lamp is called beam factor. So if certain amount of light is emitted by the projector, so how much amount of light it is emitting and how much amount of light or lumens is absorbed by this reflector, that is called beam factor. The ratio of lumens in the beam of projector to the lumens given out by the lamps. So actually from source how much is coming, then how much is absorbed by the reflector. That ratio is called the beam factor. So its value ranges from generally 0.3 to 0.6. So next, coming to reflection factor. What is reflection factor? It is also called as coefficient of reflection. So generally when a light falls on any surface, let me take it, this is a surface. Generally, if any light falls on the surface at some angle, then we know that laws of reflection tells us that the light gets reflected with the same angle from that surface or not. Angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection. But actually, does it happen? This is a law of reflection, right? But actually it does not happen. There is a deviation in this law, right? That all of the light falling on the surface do not get reflected. Some of the light may be absorbed by the surface on which it is projected, right? So when a light ray is falling on a surface, it is reflected from the surface at the angle of incidence, same angle of incidence. But a certain portion of incident light is absorbed by the surface. The ratio of reflected light to the incident light is called as reflection factor. Okay, it will be always less than unity. Why? All of the light incident on the surface will not be reflected back. So it is less than unity. Okay, that is about reflection factor or coefficient of reflection. Next, let us see what is glare. Glare is nothing but it is defined as a brightness within the field of vision of such a character as to cause annoyance, discomfort, interference with the vision or eye fatigue. So suppose if you are looking at certain object and the light is such that the object is not clearly visible to you, or it is causing some kind of discomfort to your eyes, then such kind of light or brightness is called as glare. So these are the different terms that are related to illumination, which are helpful for us in understanding the illumination. Hope you have understood all the terms. Thank you.